I put the
are
people
and
first.
Just calling to say hello, love you, miss you.
There is more than enough
Hold
room.
on to who you are and what you believe in.
Listen,
I just want to talk to a human.
Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Where's Your Humanity? I'm your host, Gail Fraser, and I'm so excited to be joined today by Kim Lich of Oinopo Studio. Kim specializes in brand design, now brand strategy, and world building for your brand, helping you pivot through and identify your cult leadership for creatives and make people obsessed with your brand. I love your brand, and I'm so excited to chat with you today. Welcome, Kim.
Oh my god, thank you. That was such a fun little intro. Hi, I'm so excited to be
Hello.
here.
I'm so excited to chat because obviously we've been in the same online space and seeing each other for a
Oscillating.
while, but just fun to actually get to sit down for longer than 20 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
I like to start off by saying, what's the bio you wish you could give? Introduce the people to the Kim beyond the business.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a deep cut here, right? Who is the Kim beyond the business? Well, I'm a weird kid. I'm a theater kid. I've grown up being creative my whole life. But with that comes just like being fucking strange and being into strange things. Like I collect clowns, for example, in different forms. I love like body horror films, like more gruesome the better. I'm just like I don't want to say like I'm super into gross shit, but before I like pivoted my brand, I was trying to make it all about like mold and just like the renewal, like the cycle of renewal and things like
Yes.
that. And like mold is gross. Yeah, it smells weird and it's nasty, but it's still beautiful in its own ways. So just I'm just very like I like gross shit. I like weird stuff. That is the
Yes.
Kim beyond the business, and I'm trying to like have that come out a little bit where I can. But yeah.
And I love it so much because you do bring that energy. You just embrace the weird. And I think that's why people are drawn to you because your people are going to be like, this is fun, this is funny, or yeah, I'm into that too.
Yeah, I mean I hope that that's the vibe. And I encourage other people to do the same. It's like what's the weirdest fucking thing about you? Put it out to the world and you're going to be surprised. That's
Yeah.
kind of like what I'm about.
As you've like really embraced it in your own brand and as your own business has evolved, how have you seen that play out with the type of people who are coming to you, the type of people who are drawn to you? What does that look like?
If I'm like talking to like who those people are, is people who like want to be doing it themselves, like, oh, I want to show more of myself online on the public square,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like some fear there, they because they can't control what eyes are going to
Mm-hmm.
be on them. It's very scary to just be like blah, let me just blah. But I find, and I've been journaling a lot about this recently, and reading about it too, is just because I'm queer. My pronouns are they them. I'm very like openly non-binary, and I think like having been queer for so many years of my life, it's like there's no other option for me than just radically being myself when it comes
Yeah.
to my identity. So then when it comes to like, it just extends and bleeds through everything, right? So I'm like, okay, let's use this like momentum of radical audacity and authenticity, if you will, to try and like spread it to as many people as possible. Like we need more weird ideas. And
We really do. And
yeah.
like mold breakers. And I think that's something that the queer community, the neurodivergent community do really well is like, especially, so I have ADHD and like
Sorry.
we see the patterns that other people don't see. And
Mhm.
the entire reason that I have the business and the job that I do is because I'm just like spent my whole corporate career before this being like, but why are we doing it that way? Like, why are we doing it the like
Oh my God.
most inefficient way? Why am I being asked to like play the game and like kiss ass to someone who's not doing the work that we're doing? And why can't I just make it better for us? And I don't get that. And
Right.
I think that because we have that tendency and no, like let's fix it. Let's do it better. If there's a better way, let's do that.
And the better way is my way.
And it's my way.
Yeah.
But like there's so much cultural expectation of, but this is the way we've always done it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but people evolve, technology evolves, like maybe that's not the
Mhm.
best way anymore. Obviously, the queer community has made a lot of those strides societally for us as a collective of being like, maybe let's be like, there's not just two super heteronormative gender identities, and for us to be more accepting of people and being themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And that stuff is just kind of that's like default for me, right?
Yeah.
That but then it stretches into thinking back on like, okay, how was I when I was in employment? Like, why did I question everything? Why didn't I want to fit into a box? And for HR, it was like, oh, you're complicated to work with, or like, why are you questioning these things? Like, these are the standard operational procedures. Like, this is how we do it. And I'm like, yeah, but also, why am I like not allowed to ask about it, to like learn more about the reasoning behind it, for example? And whenever you try to veer off a beaten path, it's a paved fucking 6-lane
Mhm.
road.
Yeah.
And you're like, let me go into the bush for a little bit. They're like, nope, it's like in Mario Kart, whenever you drive off Rainbow Road, they like pick you up and they're like, nope, get back here, bitch.
That's corporate
Keep going.
America.
And yeah, I don't want nobody to come and like fucking pick me up and put me back on this paved massive road. Like, I want to see what's in the bush.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
that process like when you're helping your own clients see what's in the bush for them?
What's in the bush? Um
You should adopt this as part of your brand strategy.
yeah. We're looking through the bush. We're looking through your bush. Um I I ask a lot of questions. I think not to like toot my own horn or anything, but this is something that I was told recently, is that when I'm on a call, that I am a fantastic listener. No, but I was told by someone else that like
Amazing.
really good listener, and you like pick up on stuff and like can make connections during the call and like follow certain threads. So I like to believe that I'm just like good at asking questions and making those connections from like a holistic perspective, rather than like for someone who's in it, who's like, okay, I have all of these blips that are different pieces, but when they're presented to me, I see it as like a whole interconnecting web.
Yeah.
It's a lot of talking and asking questions and listening and like bouncing back and forth. It's usually like one thought that a client has that I'm like, what if we
You're like,
challenge
what if we
that?
just pull on that thread a little
Pull
bit?
on it, and then be like, what if, yeah. So a lot of that, which in turn makes it really hard to like describe what I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you can relate.
Yes, 1,000%. How do you approach it when your clients are like, okay, clearly they've come to you because they see that you are being your whole self and they want to do that too in their business, but they're a little afraid to put themselves out there for judgment or whoever's going to see or hear this. How do you approach that conversation with them?
Well, first of all, I tell them to block their mother. or any literally like any family member, because like, are they your ideal clients? Are you ever going to work with those people? No, they're probably just going to be there as like an overhanging source of judgment, like they have been your entire life. And like, look, the support is great, but you're messing with my vibe.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to go. After going to therapy for a little bit, that's what I realized. Like, oh my god, there's so much, and like I knew that from before, but just it was just so plainly put out to me. Like, so much of this stuff comes from our families, and after
Mhm.
talking about it, a lot of people feel the same way. They really, really relate. So I'm like, well, just here, it's okay. You're allowed to block your mother. She can follow you on your personal account and see what you're posting, what food you're posting, but she doesn't need to see you talking about your business unless she's like planning to share it with her, business friends. Yeah, I feel like there's so just like starting looking at like what is keeping you from doing this, identifying like where's this fear coming from, and what is the first step that we can take to start removing those distractions. The fear is always going to be there. There's always like
Oh yeah.
strangers are a thing, and not every stranger is kind on the internet. But when it comes to like the fears that are from, having been conditioned by something like when we grew up, and that has just followed us into adult life. So I'm like, yeah, what is it? Where is it coming from? Who told you this? Who instilled this belief
Yeah,
into you? You know?
exactly. I think back to even when I decided what to study in college. So, like, my little background is that I went to university right out of high school and switched majors all the 3 semesters that I was there, and was like, okay, and I'm paying way too much to just not know. And ultimately during the pandemic went back to school, studied psychology, because I was like, this is something that is going to be interesting enough for me to get the degree that says pay me more than minimum wage. But like looking back, I took an AP psychology class in high school and it was my favorite class. And I loved it. I thought it was so interesting, but I came from a like psychology is not a real science family.
Oh shit. Okay.
And so I'm like looking back, had I not had that voice in my head, I probably would have just started by studying that and maybe would have just like gone on the traditional 4-year path. And I don't have any regrets. I've like been
Yeah.
led to all the right places. But yeah, I look back on that and I'm just like, oh yeah, because I had that voice in my head that that wasn't worth studying.
What changed for you then? I'm curious.
I mean, mostly life experience. I dropped out of college at 19 and worked until I was 22, and then went back to school during the pandemic because unlike my peers, it was kind of like a natural break for me because it's really hard once you start working to then like put your entire life on hold and like go back to school,
Yeah.
especially for someone like me where I'm really using school as a means to an end. I honestly hated being in college. It's not how I learn best. Like I learn by doing, and that's why I like working. Is
Mhm.
that like I get to
Mhm.
kind of like figure out the puzzle as I go, but I was just like, well, now I can tell a corporation to pay me more than 12.50 an hour.
Did it work?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's so obviously like I'm in Sweden, in case
Mhm.
anybody's wondering. So education is very different here compared to the
Yeah.
US. But the consensus that from like what I understand is that even like having a degree today doesn't matter that much anymore. But yeah, it could be the difference between like I was in that situation where I got a job, and then whenever I had a degree to confirm my skills in that job, they upped my pay, which was interesting. So like
Yeah.
yeah, it does have value, but
It's very interesting here in the US because, like, obviously, right now is a really shitty time to be graduating from college at all because the job market's so bad. But it still matters. Like, you almost can't
yeah.
get a corporate job if you don't have a degree, and they don't care what it's in, unless you're in, like, medical, engineering, education, like, the things where you do have more of a pathed career. But in corporate, I always say all the jobs are the same. They're just a different flavor. And so you can learn how to do any of them if you have the interest to learn. So it doesn't matter in that way, in that no one cares what your degree is in, but you
Yeah.
still need the piece of paper and usually like thousands, tens of thousands of dollars of debt to prove that you have a good work ethic.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Yeah, that's the fucked up part where it's like they just want to know that you're a good like cog in the machine,
No, truly.
and that's what a piece of paper proves, that like, oh, you went through all of that and you got
Yeah.
out of it, and
It's
this is
like,
the
well,
receipt.
and I think for as someone who really didn't like college and didn't like, I mean, I was undiagnosed ADHD and I was a good student, but like at the cost of my mental health and sanity.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, well, this is just like, you're basically asking me to prove that I can tolerate bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because I was like, I just want to be working. You learn everything on the job anyway. For the like, again, for most corporate industries, unless you have like a super specialized degree, like you're learning 90% of it on the job, and the rest of it is like communication. Like the
Mm-hmm.
10% that you're not learning on the job is like soft skills.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, well, if you need that, you're just asking that I put up with 4 years of bullshit, and you're just hoping that if I have a college degree, I will put up with however many decades of your bullshit.
So did you say that you worked between high school and college?
I worked in high school and then went to college right out and then dropped out at 19. So I went to like 3 semesters here, a year and
Okay.
a half of college, and then worked for like 4 years before going back to school.
Right, right. Did you feel like, sorry, I'm just like interviewing you now.
No, that's okay.
Do you feel like having the work experience helped you like when you came back to studying? Like did that make a difference?
Yes and no. It didn't change any of my like behaviors of like not being able to write an essay in anything longer than like one sitting. I think it just made me care less.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's just like
honestly,
it's not that serious. Like
I was, yeah, I'm really lucky to have had that experience where I have had a different job pretty much every year of my career, where
Mhm,
it's like
mhm.
different industry, different job title, completely different role. Like,
Yeah.
and that I've had a lot of luck with that, of just kind of like going with my gut of being like, okay, and I've learned all that I can learn here, and I don't like this, and I like doing this, and I want to do more of this and less of that. And when I went back to school, the interactions that I did have with other students were like, it's okay if you don't know. Like, you're going to figure it out. And I think that that's really valuable too. Like, that is to me the most valuable part of my very like windy career, is that I have a very strong sense of self and what I'm good at and what I do and don't like to do,
Yeah.
because I've kind of trusted that I didn't have to be on the like stay at this job for a decade and work my way up in a linear fashion, because that just wasn't going to work.
Yeah, I can't believe that people like do that. They're like, I'm gonna climb the ladder in this one place here, and that's what I'm gonna do for my entire life. No, but what you're saying is like it's reminding me of like this thing of like not having it figured out, and also like not having it figured out for so long, because it reminds me to when I must have been 15. Like when we go to high school here, you pick like a specialization
And that's
basically.
so crazy to me. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I went to theater. So, but there's like so many different, and like they're quite like when you're 15 and you're being asked to pick between so many different options is essentially like mini, college.
Mhm.
Um so you're learning about something very, very specific, and it all feels very serious. Like when you're 15 and you're like, okay, now you got to pick like what is your life path going to be. It feels so, so serious.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want to play. I just
Yeah.
want to keep playing. So I went into theater, but then that feeling has, I'm just like realizing it now as you're talking, like that feeling has like I'm fucking 32, almost
Yeah.
33 today. It has followed me throughout my whole life. Like, my CV looks like a fucking CVS receipt. It's
Yeah.
so
Oh, same.
long. Just switching in between things, staying in one thing for like 3 months, going to another for 5, 6, whatever. Never staying anywhere for longer than a year, ever.
Yeah.
Unless it was something that had to do with theater or like performance or creativity, which those are scarce, those jobs.
Yeah.
um but still, like, even if it was in within that field, it was also like, okay, but what do I like? Do I want to do I want to be on stage? Do I want to be behind the stage? I've done both.
Right.
uh and I was also just like, shit, I don't know. And in both cases, there's just so many options constantly all the time. um and now just like running a business and being like, okay, uh I am being kind of shuffled around into these boxes by like coaches or people that I look up to online. Like, they're not doing it purposefully on me,
Yeah.
but you're like listening, you're like, okay, I love what you're like, I love your beliefs and what you're on about and your process and your methods, and I want to follow it. But then I get to a point where I'm like, this is starting to feel too much like a box.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too that that speaks to something really universal for a lot of us who've had like more unconventional paths. Like my biggest fear going into college, because like again, university, like college is really expensive here,
Yeah.
and it feels very final when you're making that
Mm-hmm.
decision of like, okay, well, now I have to choose what to do for the rest of my life. And whether that's at 15 or 18 here, you're just like, how am I supposed to know? Like, I
Yeah.
remember having my first, like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh my god.
Assignment in second grade.
Yeah.
So when I was like 7, and I literally like broke down crying. I was like, how am I supposed to know? And my parents were like, it's not that serious. Like,
Yeah, and it's like,
you're
but
not judging
the
this.
paper is telling me I need to
Um,
decide right now.
but like that feeling followed me where I was just like, but how am I supposed to pick one thing that I want to do forever?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's like really freeing as a business owner. And I wonder if you feel the same way of like, you get to evolve in your business. And as you evolve and change, which we all inevitably do, and like your interests pivot. And I know you've mentioned like being a brand designer first, and now you're more in the brand strategy. And like, but like you get to do that because it's your business.
I do get to do that, but I haven't like accepted that until literally like last week after having like a huge identity crisis. So I've been like in a program with this pivot of like, okay, I need to figure out my fucking offer suite because I didn't have one before. And now where it's like, okay, what is it that I'm actually good at? I'm building everything around that. And now I've reached a point where I was introduced to like a completely different business structure, and I was like, well, that sounds more appealing to me. But now I've been doing this thing for like 6 months, and I was talking about it with one of my fellow students in this program, and she was like, well, you don't have to, like, you don't have to keep yourself in this box that we are like working within.
Mhm.
You still have the freedom to like do whatever you want. And I'm like, okay, but like, like really, like, can I really do that? Like, because it feels like I have been going a little bit to school with like some group programs. I do like
Yeah.
that they feel. I love going to school. I love learning. Um, so it really feels like I have been going to school. Like, we have a call every single week, and it's been going on for
Yeah.
so long, and have the assignments and everything. Um, so I'm like, okay, well, so you're telling me that I can like deviate from this. And also it's like the autistic black and white
Yes.
thinking that really likes to fuck me up in those ways where I'm like, no, brain, like we can do that. I don't want to say like carve my own path because it's such a like overused way of saying it, but this whole thing of like, let's go into the bush and with a machete and just like see what's out there where nobody has gone before, like uncharted territory, and just make a structure that works for me and what I want to do. Because I've spent a lot of time looking at what other people are doing because I didn't know any better, you know?
I think about that so often because in what I do with helping small business owners with their systems and how to like run the back end admin tedious side of their business better, easier. So many people come to me very embarrassed by what they have because it feels very cobbled together, or like they have all these kind of duct tape together systems that
Yeah.
aren't working really well. And I'm like, no, we're all figuring it out. I too am figuring it out as I go. We all have a limited amount of time and skill sets in different areas. And like I've seen large corporations that are less functional than how you have set up your business.
Literally, yeah. Yeah.
But we're all figuring it out. And that's part of business. And whether you have a business degree or whether you are like, here's my passion, here's what I'm good at, I'm going to start a business and figure it out as I go. We're all doing that to some degree because
Yeah.
there's so much to know and you have to learn it along the way.
Yeah. I have always known that, but it's so easy to like whenever you yourself are in the messy middle, it's just like, oh, it's so different because it's me. Like it's so hard because it's me. Or you look at, yeah, like when you're talking about systems, like you look at someone's back end and it's like, I have literally seen every single possible combination of this.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that like you were able to actually figure something out by your own, and you like systems are not your thing. That's what I do. I'm just like, I don't work with systems, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I know what I want to do, so let's see if I can do it for like as low cost as possible, preferably zero. And like
Yeah.
that's the challenge for me.
Right.
Because I'm a problem solver. Like I've always
Yeah.
been a problem solver. So yeah, but no, I relate. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna be I don't want to show you my zaps and my whatever I have back there. I'm like, it works, you know.
And that's where you start. And also, I think it's like not funny in like a funny haha, but it's such an interesting part of the human condition that
Mhm.
people who are hiring me because they know they need systems support are now embarrassed that they need systems support.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, actually, like, no, fam, like, that's why I'm here. Like,
Literally. Yeah.
I'm like, you wouldn't be hiring me if you were already really great at this.
That's the case for, so I think literally for everyone. It's just,
Yeah.
you know, you hire a copywriter for copywriting support and you're embarrassed by the copy that's on your website.
Yeah.
You hire a brand designer. Like it's the same. Everyone fucking feels like that. And it's like, why? Why?
I think it's so personal too. Like our businesses are so personal to us
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
you're like embarrassed about what you don't know.
But I still think it's just so impressive, even if you're embarrassed by what you don't know, but you still did it your
Did it
own way.
anyway.
Yeah, and did it
Yeah.
anyway. And that's impressive as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's really telling to like us and literally every business owner ever, of just like moving through life, especially being neurodivergent and
Mhm.
going through these like very rigid structures that weren't built for us.
Yeah.
And like we did it anyway. Yeah, it might maybe burnt me out and traumatized me and all of
Yeah.
this stuff, but I did it anyway.
Yeah. I always say like you wouldn't be a business owner if you didn't really care, because it's like a crash course, trial by fire into self exploration and
Yeah.
who am I and how do I work and what works and what doesn't. And this program that I launched and was super excited about it, no one signed up, or it failed, or I ran it and actually I hated it. Yeah, it's just so much of the human condition that we all feel like a little bit embarrassed that there's error and trial and error. I'm just like,
who knew? Who knew?
that we don't try everything the first time. But like, and as someone who like varies like learn by doing, but also like I would say more or less reformed perfectionist, but
Mhm.
like you can only know if it's gonna work if you try it. And sometimes that means you're gonna learn that it doesn't work.
Yeah, and that has like it has to be okay. I think it's very therapeutic in a way, but like in the most like violent way. It's so like revealing about ourselves
Mhm.
that like, well shit, I didn't know I sucked at this thing.
Yeah.
I gotta deal with that now.
Well, and I put together a Done With You program earlier this year and I was super excited about it. Like marketed it super hard. I was hoping to have like 4 people in it and then had like 2 and I was just like, okay, that's fine. And because it's a little bit more like a course because it's like I'm building out the structure for them to go through and I'm more or less like an editor, teacher, unsurprisingly, as somebody who hated coursework and like the structure of how school worked and having homework and whatever, the people who were drawn to me and my personality, unsurprisingly, also felt that way. And then
Mm.
just no one started. Like the 2 people who signed
Right.
up just like also didn't start anything.
Yeah.
And and then also I didn't want to create it because I was gonna like do it
Oh
as I
no.
went through, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, they haven't started it, and then that was like I was no longer motivated to like go in and create the content for it because it felt so much like homework, and I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, like let's take a step back. And I ended up just crediting them for done for you services
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
instead because I was just like, clearly like this also isn't working for you. I don't think it's working for me. And I don't want to be putting a ton of my time and energy into it if every time I sit down to do it, I'm just dreading it.
Mhm.
And like I said, I was so excited about this program. I was like, I think this is the direction that my business is going in. Like, it's really scalable. And then I sat down to do it and I was like, I think I hate this.
I hate those actually. That's rough. That's so damn rough. But also like big of you to just be so real with yourself and with your clients and just be like, I think we all hate what I'm trying to do here. So let's
Yeah.
just not do it.
And like, also, I think for me, it was like very freeing. I just like sent them a voice note and I was like, hey, so like, here's what I'm thinking. Like, and both of them were just like, yes, that. Because
Mhm.
again, like we'd been like a month and a half into the program and neither of them had started any of it. This is not me ragging on them. Like, again, I had not
Oh
built
yeah.
out like the rest of the program yet. So I was like, yeah, it was very freeing for me to be like, okay, this thing that I'm dreading and that I don't want to babysit, like feel like I'm babysitting these clients. I work with wedding industry. It is peak wedding season right now. So I'm like, I know they're busy. Like I know that they're just like they don't have time for this either.
Mhm.
And I did warn them of that before they signed up that I didn't necessarily recommend doing it during busy season. But they were just like, no, I'm going to have time. And then they didn't. And I was just like, well, I don't want to bug them. I don't want to babysit them. And then I was like, I don't think I want to babysit anyone. Like, I think actually I just want to do what I'm good at. And I think that's what they want to.
Yeah. Like, all right, never doing courses because
Yeah.
everyone's gonna hate it,
Because we
including
all hate
me.
homework. Like,
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm truly like on the opposite side of the spectrum
and I
with
love
that.
that for you.
I'm just like all the worksheets, all of the things, all of the homework, all of the recorded lessons, everything. I just love sitting down and binging a course. You know what I mean?
I don't, but I can't tell you how many courses I've spent money on and never opened the email.
Oh, but I am very selective. I'm just like, is this something that I'm actually going to sit down and like at least watch for an hour or two right now? Because I do know that a lot of folks who are just like, I'm just collecting, it's in the graveyard, it's in a
Yeah.
some folder in my inbox. I don't know.
For me, video content or like course content where I just have to listen and also make deadlines for myself, that just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I know it doesn't, but sometimes I still like get catfished into thinking that it will.
It's some people are just so fucking good at marketing, and I hate when I fall for it and I get in when they're just like, it's only $27, and I'm like, all right, like, sure, it's not a lot of money, but I'm also like I hold on to my dollars like
Yeah.
so tightly. So it's like, unless you like 110% convince me, I'm not going to spend any money, even if it's only $27. And then I get into it and I'm like, wow, this was not okay, the marketing and what's the content here, clearly the marketing was for me. Whatever is in here is not for me.
Yeah, I never get to that second stage. The marketing was for me, and then the content sat in my email, and I never found out if the content was for me either.
Don't know. But hey, I mean, I think it also, because you mentioned that you learn best when you're doing stuff, and I think
Mhm.
that also says a lot to this whole situation. But I feel like I just want to like sponge. I feel like
You
such a
just yeah.
generalist sometimes, but then
Yeah.
like generalist has become like a dirty word.
Which I think is so dumb.
Yeah, it is. Like
It's because of capitalism.
I love knowing a little bit about everything, you know?
Yeah. And
I
I
love
think
it.
that's so valuable. Like, I think we all want that for ourselves. Like, I've always been so confused by people who are just like so uninterested in learning about anything outside of their like one career path.
Mhm.
Or I'm like, the world is vast. There's
Mhm.
a lot out there to
Mhm.
learn, and you don't want to learn about any of it. You just want to learn about corporate finance.
You only get one life, you know? You
Yeah.
got you got to learn as much as you can, like bring it in, absorb it.
Yeah, I want to pivot this conversation because I know that one of your specialties that I want to let you be able to yap on and speak to
Oh.
is cults.
Oh shit. Yeah. When I say like your business is a cult, right? That can be interpreted in a few different ways. Um but my point that I want to make with that is that it's about obsession at the end of the day. Like we all want people to like be obsessed with our businesses and what we do because that's when people buy from us. Like, you know, it's a different way of calling people fans essentially.
Mhm.
Like, you know, I'm obsessed with you. I love everything you do. I'm obsessed, whatever. We want that. We crave it. We crave it. And I think that it's the same kind of obsession and like following around an idea, like the specific way that you do things and your takes on the industry, your like beliefs that are very polarizing. There are so many parallels between that and how cults operate, but it's not only like I've chosen cults because, you know, I'm a weird kid and I enjoy playing with the like stereotype of like a charismatic leader. I have gotten a little bit of backlash for it where people that have like actually been in cults and have escaped cults, they
Yes.
don't find the language very charming. And at that, like, it's not my job to convince anyone of it. It's just like, I get it, like it's not for you, just block me because you're not going to want to see my content in your feed
Yeah.
probably. But for me, it's more about the stereotype and the parody of it. It's not just limited to cults, it's behind religions as well, like the same kind of like the way that people come
Mhm.
together as communities around one specific belief, around religions, around, you know, political ideologies, like philosophies, all of those things. But yeah, I chose cults because it's like a little bit sinister, and I'm just like a little bit of a sinister kind of
Yeah.
person. Um, as leaders online, you do have to be charismatic. Like you have to, and it's and it just happens. Like, yeah, you have to be a charismatic leader, and it just happens to be that that's what, you know, the leader of a cult is like. Beware of charismatic leaders because they're gonna like bring you in and brainwash you. When in this case, it's more about talking about what you believe and your methods, your way of doing things, and again, your polarizing belief in a way that makes people like pay attention to it and be like, hey, hang on a second, this is something that I okay, you have a point, like all right, I'm curious, like let me follow this and see like what else do you have to say. Or like it introduces an idea, like a way of doing business that you weren't aware of before. And it's not like about bringing people into my world and worshiping me. That's not what it is about at all. I want to bring people in to be like, hey, let's worship ourselves and like
Yeah.
what you're about, and like broadcast that into the world. I have this concept called like a cult of one, that I'm like, I make cult leaders out of creatives and all of this stuff. The concept of the cult in that context is not one person that a big group of people gathers around. It's always only going to be you, and
Mm-hmm.
you're just spreading your ideas, and those people that you're spreading your ideas from, they're making it into something that belongs to them,
Yep.
and they also create their own like little cults of ones. So it's I want to just like be very clear with like how I'm using the language, because it can be interpreted and like,
Yeah.
hang on a minute, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you mean you have a cult? But it's just the idea of spreading ideas in a way that makes people listen, but the ideas themselves are not malicious in any way. It's
Yeah.
it's like about genuinely like helping helping people.
Yeah. Well, especially in our society today, like we're basically taught to question everything that we do, dislike ourselves to some level. Like, as we've talked about, like already in this conversation, like as a business owner, you have to be kind of radically accepting of yourself, because you're going to learn a lot about you, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
By being in that space where you have that kind of like, as you call it, like self-worship or like self-obsession, where you're like, okay, I'm so passionate about what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is awesome. You also draw in
Yeah.
the people who are like, oh, that's really cool. And as a result, like, yeah, you get to create that community too, where it's
Yeah.
like, yes, sure, cult in the like extreme version of is
Yeah.
not necessarily about creating community with the individuals in the cult,
Yeah.
on the broader context. But that like that's something that I've found really rewarding about being in business, is that the people who are drawn to me for the way that I show up in my business are generally like people that I'm like, yeah, you're cool, and like I would want to hang out
Yeah.
with. And all of my clients are really cool people. And as a result, like it builds this kind of community. And
Mm-hmm.
so you get in the cult of one conversation, they see you doing it and they're like, oh, maybe I could do that too. Maybe
Yeah.
I can also radically accept myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, exactly. You get it. You get it. I'm still pivoting into this version of talking about it and figuring out like how to talk about it as well, like succinctly. So that's like what I'm working on right now. But in all of that, it's a very like messy process. I'm all about messy action, by the way. That's also like a
Yeah.
big thing. Malicious intent cults aside,
Yeah.
when it comes to obsession, they're still built up, like there's a structure to them, is similar to like how religions are built up. There's a belief system behind all of these, and they have like building blocks. I've become obsessed with the idea of like creating obsession, and so this is like me like my academia brain like fully on
Yes.
fire. So I'm like, okay, let me learn about belief systems, let me like see how I can apply it to my work, see how I can help other people create their own. At the end of the day, it's about just fucking show up and say something polarizing that will like scare the shit out of you, and see how people react. They're either going to love you or they're going to hate you, but there's like the people who love you they're going to become obsessed with you. And growing a business doesn't come from like being liked, it comes from either like being loved or hated.
Oh,
Essentially. Yeah. I'm figuring out how to talk about it. That's why like this conversation is very messy, but the like all of the ideas are there, and I'm building this more complex web of ideas of how can I like start talking about this in my content in a way that's like digestible, because I always feel like it
Mhm.
has to come with like a very long disclaimer, or
Yeah.
I get very long-winded when I talk about it, as you can tell. Yeah, that's where I am right now. But it's resonating with a lot of people, and it's something that I truly like can't get out of my head. And that's when I know, at least, that an idea is like worth pursuing, because it's just like
Mhm.
you're just obsessed with it, like you can't stop thinking about it.
Yes. And I love the concept of your business succeeds because people either love or hate you. And I think about this like in the form of friendship too. Like I've been having this conversation a lot recently where lots of people, especially women or femmes, are conditioned to be like, everyone should like me. And I'm like, you
Oh,
don't like everyone,
yeah.
first of all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you like everyone? No, you're going to be that person for somebody that they don't like. I think back to when I was in school, my little undiagnosed ADHD self being the yapper of the class. And I had like very close friends that thought I was a hoot and like fun. And I had people who were just like, she's the most annoying person I've ever met in my life.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it exists in all parts of our community sphere that, like,
Yeah.
especially if you're sharing polarizing information, playing into the theatrics of it,
Yeah.
then you're gonna be this person that someone doesn't like. And as a result, you're gonna find the people who are like, I love this. I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like much more complicated than that, really. Like you said it very, very succinctly there, of just, yeah, yeah. I have nothing else to add. That was it. That's it. That's literally it. Like, and for me, it has been interesting to figure out like which groups don't like what I'm doing, because my brand voice is also like, I play into it a lot. I'm speaking to demons, and I have a secret temple, and we're doing sacrifices, and we're praying at the altar, and all of these things. And before I like post stuff that is like playing more into that type of brand voice, I'm always like, I wonder if I have someone in my audience who's like religious that's going to read this and think that I'm super offensive to their faith or whatever. And then also, like, I wonder if, people from who have actually been hurt by actual cults out there, if they're going to see this and think that I'm a horrible person for doing this, which has happened. And like, that's completely fair. I acknowledge that that's the case, but I also can't be like responsible for the traumas that other people have,
Yeah,
because then that's when I would blend in.
right. And you
Um,
also, we can't please everyone.
yeah.
And everyone has their own journey. And like honestly, I think if I saw my brand as like a kid, like I was raised by a stay-at-home dad, and we were raised very much like boys, and like I like being as hot pink as I am online
Hmm.
is like so fun for me now, but it's also like such a deconstruction, and like again that like radical self-acceptance of like, yeah, I don't have to show up in like a black suit, of like I don't have to wear a blazer to my brand shoot. I don't like, and that like it's more fun for me to be that way, but I also think that there are points at my life where if I was looking at my content now, I'd be like, "What is she doing?" But I also think that that's like that's
Yeah.
good. That's like part of growth,
Yeah.
and everyone's on their own path, and you can't please everyone, but I think that you have the right approach to it, which is just like you can accept that this might not land for you,
Hmm.
and if you find this offensive, like just don't engage, block me. I'm probably not your person, and that's okay.
Like, as long as I'm not, being like racist,
Yeah.
homophobic, like any of those things, I'm still gonna offend people, even if like, I can be a good person, but I can still offend people, or like it will happen
Yeah.
that I will offend people with how I speak, with how blunt I am, with like what I speak of, and all of these things, because of the experiences that other folks have had.
Mhm.
And that being said, like I have, previous clients that I've worked with many times who like have religious trauma and they find my brand hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
so it's also like you can still have the same background, but think of it in two completely different ways too. So I'm like, at that point, I'm like, it just cannot be on me
No.
to be like, all right, let me watch what I'm saying. And I think that is very, but I do think that a lot of people feel that way, and that it's very telling to like this fear of like, I just want to be liked by everyone.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's great, but do you want to like be loved? Do you want people to be obsessed with you? Because
Mhm.
if you say yes to that, then there are people who are gonna not
Gonna hate
like
you.
you and are gonna hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all the pro AI people online who are fighting with me daily.
Oh no. Oh my god. Okay, you're on that side, huh?
Oh, I really am.
Damn.
But I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to pivot us as we come to the end of the episode and give you a moment to speak to your humanity hot take.
Okay. Please take this the right way. We need to be a little bit more like evil, but like evil in like not like billionaire evil, but I mean like, mischievous rubs hands together type of evil where it's like, I'm gonna fucking do this and you can't say anything, or like, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna publish this and nobody can fucking tell me anything because it's going out there. Because like that's like what's at in my frontal lobe right now is just
Yeah.
like fucking like just radical, put yourself out there type of energy that and it kind of accumulates into like, I think we should be more evil. And by that I mean like the leftist type of evil.
Where we just want people to thrive.
Yeah, exactly. But like steal from corporations, do, I don't know if this works, but like, do chargebacks and get your fucking money back type of stuff, like from big businesses. Be more evil to big fucking corporations, as the consumer. Do whatever you can. Like, that's my humanity hot take.
Honestly, couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Being evil for good.
Be evil for good. Yeah. Because I wrote it on Threads once. I was like, I think we should be more evil, and I got like, the only comments I got were from people who don't follow me, and they're like, what the fuck are you on about? I'm like, no, listen.
Meanwhile, everyone who follows you is like, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because we get like we're in on the bit.
I did see someone somewhere too that short people should be allowed to be evil. I'm 5'3", by the way. Short people should allowed to be evil because for them it's just like mischief, and I'm like, yes, exactly. Yeah.
I love it. Well, Kim, where can people find you and all of your hot takes on the internet?
Well, I'm very active on Threads. My handle is oinopo.studio everywhere. That's OINOPO.studio. My website is currently under construction, but you can still check it out. It's oinopo.com. I write a newsletter every Thursday called Charismatic Leader, where I talk about all of these things that we spoke about today. Structured obsession, creating a cult following, all of that stuff. And all of my links are on my social medias. So
yes, and I will be sharing them in the show notes as well.
Thanks.
So if you enjoyed this conversation, go find and follow Kim. Also, your email newsletter is one of the only ones that I read.
Oh my god!
So if you're not on Kim's email list, change that. And thanks for being here, Kim. It was so good to talk with you.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Thanks so much for listening. I'm your host, Gail Fraser. And for more information about Where's Your Humanity, you can check out at Where's Your Humanity Pod on Instagram. And for more information about me and the work that I do, you can go to my website, worksimple.io, which is also my Instagram and Threads handle. Our lovely theme music is brought to you by Emily Bjorky. And you can go check out her album, Are You Going to Heaven or Hell, anywhere you listen to music. Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you later.